Projects are stepping stones for the organization and provide corporate strategy. Projects are often part of a larger strategy that the company is pursuing to meet corporate objectives. These objectives may be to improve processes within the organization, manufacturing, design, etc. To deliver a complex project or to improve processes outside the organization, such as sales, distribution, etc. Whatever the individual reason for a project, the firm's strategic development is the driving force behind the project development. The organization may be large and will have a large program office. In large organizations, there will be a program office that will oversee these projects. 3 or more projects are often combined into one program. Each program will be tied to a corporate objective. In mid-size or smaller companies, we may find the individuals are sometimes assigned full-time to projects, but sometimes they are temporarily assigned to a project manager position. Sometimes firms have a desire to redevelop their products or processes. The firm may start a project to re-engineer their products or those processes. These efforts are usually directed at completing a major change that will take weeks or months to complete. In some situations, a company will wish to change its strategic direction or create a new product portfolio. The company will begin to create new product lines. Since this is a significant change to the way the company moves forward, they may wish to choose an individual to lead the creation of new product lines. The project will allow for resources to be allocated to ensuring that the new product line is introduced. Often, introducing new products into a company's production line is the hardest activity for the company to perform successfully. Often, companies suffer from poor communication. The organizations are inefficient because they cannot readily communicate within a facility or through their corporate network. These companies may change their corporate communications to something new. These systems that span many functional areas such as sales, marketing, planning, accounting, and manufacturing are called enterprise systems. Changing an enterprise system could take 12 to 18 months. This type of project is an ideal situation for establishing a formal project with a project manager and a supporting team to implement the new system. In summary, the projects that a company implements is to help the organization perform better. Successful projects help a company to meet its primary goal, which is, in most cases, to make money and improve organizational shareholder value. Stakeholders are all individuals or groups who have an active stake in the project. These are people who can be affected by the project in both positive and negative ways. Stakeholders are often the people in upper management of the company who have authorized the project. These individuals can see their budgets affected by the cost of the project, or they can see that their power base is going to be affected by the project. Stakeholders could be project team members. Stakeholders can also be people who the project is going to affect a change in the way the individual does their work. Often, these stakeholders are overlooked, which leads to the possible failure of the project. It is always important to remember that the people on the production lines, the people entering orders, and other important people who are affected by your project. Stakeholders can affect your project in both positive and negative ways. Project managers often keep notes about how to work with different stakeholders. Often, the stakeholder who may see a political advantage to the success of your project will be a strong supporter. Stakeholders who perceive the success of your project may cause work for them or for their department or weaken their political position may not be so supportive of your project. Being aware of the politics associated with your project is important, but should not consume a significant part of your daily tasks. There are two types of stakeholders to consider. There are internal and external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders are top management. These are individuals who often sponsor the project and normally want to see your project be successful. Chief financial officer or accountant. This individual often decides if the organization has the funds and capital available to ensure the project can move forward. The project manager should work closely with this individual. Functional managers. These are individuals who oversee the many departments that you will be working with. They are interested in your project. Most will be positively affected by your project, and some will be possibly negatively affected. You may be pulling resources or adding additional work that they have to do. Make sure you understand the effect your project is having on them. Be sure to have empathy when needed, but also stand firm to keep your project moving forward. Project team members. These individuals are key to your success. Be sure to respect them and delegate tasks to them as needed to support the project. Other employees in the company. These individuals are often those who day to day their tasks may change as a result of the project. Engineers can sometimes overlook these individuals. Project managers should be aware of all those employees who they are affecting in positive and negative ways. The project manager should help these employees work through the changes. External stakeholders are clients. The client is the person or persons who will receive the outcome of the project. Competition. The competition does not need to be aware of your project, but you should be mindful of what the competition is doing. The competition could change its strategy, which could negate the need for your project. Suppliers. Suppliers should always be kept aware of your projects. The suppliers will need to know of any possible changes that may design out current material or add new material. You do not want to create a situation where you have successfully finished your project, but there is no material available to move forward because of long lead times for the components. The project manager is central to the project's success. The project manager has to keep in touch with all parts of the organization and has to monitor the external environment to ensure there are no factors with the local town, city, state, or with the competition that could affect the project's continued success. There are sometimes changes in the availability of power, water, or other utilities that could affect whether your project can be implemented. Be sure to watch for these restrictions when working internationally. The project manager must keep in contact with the parent organization. Often there are those interested outside the local organization who will be looking for updates about the project. Some companies will have a program management office that must be updated. There are three types of organizational structures that company will organize themselves. These are functional organizations, which have groups of people who perform similar tasks in departments. The departments could be planning, marketing, sales, manufacturing, etc. The project manager is weak in this organization and has little authority. Project organizations. These types of organizations have people performing similar activities in project teams on temporary assignments. The project manager is strong and has power in this type of organization. Matrix organizations. The organization structure creates a dual hierarchy in which functional and project managers have equal authority. Often the project manager and the functional manager are both responsible for rating the performance of the project team members. The project manager has moderate power and authority in these organizations. The project charter is the document used to get approval to perform the project. The project charter outlines the requirements and specifies what we want to do and what we are trying to accomplish. The business needs will discuss why the project is important and how much it will cost. The summary schedule will outline how long the project will take and when key aspects of the company, equipment, or other significant resources may be impacted. The project charter will outline the assumptions and constraints of the project. If there are any assumptions such as business climate, competition not entering the same market, or other significant factors, they should be included in the project charter. If there are constraints, and time always seems to be a constraint, there may be equipment availability that could constrain the project. Perhaps there's a piece of processing equipment that is a bottleneck, and time must be made available at some point in the project to utilize that piece of equipment. The project charter must be well written. The project charter is an important document, as this document could determine if a project will be successful in getting funded. The key issue to understand is that the project charter formally authorizes the project. The project charter is where the project manager derives the authority to lead the project and make things happen. The project charter allows resources to be applied to project activities. The project charter is the document that outlines how we will know that we completed the project because the expectations for the project are provided within the document. The project charter is the document that gives authority to the project manager. The charter is the project's marketing tool. The project charter is created at the beginning of the project, which is when the selling of the project's ideas and goals start. The project charter is the best place to document the linking between the project and the company's organizational strategy. Unfortunately, the charter is often the least discussed deliverable in project management. Be sure to give the project charter the time it needs to be written, as this is where the project manager's authority originates.